Hey everybody, my name is Peter Chittum, and I'm here to talk to you about the Audicity app from Processity.ai. Audicity allows you to have unlimited field history tracking, millisecond precision of tracked changes, old and new values for long text fields and multi-select pick lists, and all-the-time transaction tracing. So let's go take a look at what that looks like. Let's say I'm a Salesforce administrator and I have inherited a new org. This is an org maybe that came to me via a merger. And as a result of that, I'm just starting to do a first bit of work in that org, and I'm not super familiar with it. So my first thing that I produce is a flow. And that flow is based on a requirement that if the annual revenue field value in account is set to 200,000 or more, then we're going to set the rating field to hot. Pretty straightforward. So let's go give that a test. So we've filled out our field values. You can see here, annual revenue 200,000. So that should trigger our flow. We go and click save. And strangely, we don't get a rating value of hot. It comes back as warm. Being a good Salesforce administrator, of course, I'm going to go and run a debug and see what happened. I'll go ahead and select the same account that I just used, so the conditions should be the same, and I'll run. And taking a look at it, I can see that, in fact, this flow did work correctly. I can see the rating value is set to hot. So now what? Well, thankfully, I have installed Audicity. And Audicity has been tracing every single transaction and tracking every single field value. So if I go here and take a look at the transaction that I just did for this particular account, and then I dig into this trace chart, I find some interesting details. I can see here very clearly that this main bar here indicates the main part of the transaction, but there are two other things going on in that transaction. Digging into them further, I can see that, sure enough, the main part of the transaction does end with the account rating set as hot. However, looking at these other two, I can see that account rating later gets set from hot to warm. So there's something else going on in this transaction. After a little bit more digging, I find that, in fact, there is another flow on the account object. Big surprise, huh? In fact, this flow is happening after the save, and that's why it's winning, basically, as this transaction goes through its process. Again, being a good admin, I see this as an opportune time to do some consolidation of logic. So I'm going to go ahead and deactivate this flow. And I'll come back here and deactivate and make a new version of my old flow that incorporates the update to warm logic. Once I go and activate that, I can now go and give that a test. So again, with the same values in the account revenue field, I can now go and test out my logic. And sure enough, the rating is set to hot. So there we go. I'm all set and ready to go and deploy this flow to my production org. Now, because of this success, I made the case and got approval to get Audicity installed in our production org. And good thing too, because in a few weeks, one of my rockstar customer service reps comes to me with what they think is a huge problem. Because not realizing it, they have accidentally deleted the description of a very important case that they're working on. And previously, they knew that they couldn't save the old and new field values of these long text fields. But since I've installed Audicity, actually it's not going to be a problem. As I go and take a look at all the captured transactions, I can go and find the transaction where, in fact, that description field value was changed. And because of Audicity, I've actually I can find the full text of that previous value of the description field, as well as the new value where you can see it's an empty string with the 2 single quotes there. So I'll go ahead and copy that text value, and we'll go back to the description field and paste that in to restore the description to its previous state. So there you go. If you find that field history and field audit trail are just not enough, remember Audicity is the most complete and accurate field history and all-the-time transaction tracing app for Salesforce. Thank you.